This is David. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an ASP.NET MVC application at the command line. I'm going to use the command line inside of the terminal of Visual Studio Code. Within here, you can just say View Terminal like that. But you can just open up a command prompt on your machine. This happens to be a Windows machine. And I'm going to run a command .NET new MVC. I'll give it a name, GCast MVC, and run this. This will pull down a template and create something based on that. So if I do a list here, now I have a folder called GCast MVC. Let me change to that folder, GCast MVC, and you'll see that there's a bunch of folders and files inside of there. In fact, I can see them in Visual Studio Code by expanding this and doing File, Open Folder, and make sure I go to the folder that I just created right there. Here it is, this folder right here. And now you can see it. You'll see that there is an app settings.json. There is a project file, and there are all these subfolders here for. So for example, I have this controller folder right here. It only has an index. Method and a privacy method right here, along with a constructor. It's automatically doing some logging by injecting this iLogger into it. This will log to the console by default. There is an error handler, a really rudimentary error handler. There is just a view just for the errors. There is, I'm sorry, a model just for the errors. There's a view for the various pages. There's my home page right here. There's my privacy page, etc. So all that stuff was created. And now if I go back to my terminal, this also was configured to use HTTPS, which is kind of difficult on a local machine because you have to trust the certificate. And there is a command, .NET dev -certs HTTPS --trust, which tells me to trust the certificate associated with this application in the current folder. So I'll press enter here, and that's done right there. When you run this, you might get a dialog asking you to confirm. I don't get it because I've run this command before. And then finally, to actually make it run, I do .NET run right here. This will both build it and run it. And it tells you right here it's listening at HTTP localhost 5080. So if I want to test this application, I can do so by opening a browser that points to HTTP:/localhost 5080. And there is my application. It has a privacy page and it has a home page, and then this link out to somewhere on the web, etc. If I want to change this application, I can simply go back to Visual Studio Code, make the changes that I want. Let's go ahead and press Control-C to stop the application running, and go, for example, if I wanted to change the view right here, instead of saying welcome, I could say welcome friends, ! And save that and deploy it again. I'll show you also that you can also do a .NET build if you just want to build it without running everything. Don't really need to do that for just to change the view, but for changing the code, you will. And if I do .NET run right here again, I can see it. And you notice this right here, this actually tells me what port it's listing on here. I could press Control-click, and that also would open it up in here. And you can see the change that I made right here. This is great if you just want to deploy it locally and test locally, but you probably want to share this awesomeness with other folks. And there's a command for doing that, for preparing this to publish. And what I do is go into Visual Studio, back into Visual Studio Code, to the command prompt again. And I want to create some publish information. So Control-C to stop this application, and I'm going to run .NET publish. And I want to publish the release version, not the debug version. I'll tell it where to store that. I'm going to put it in bin/publish. You can put it wherever you want, but that's probably a logical place to store this right here. It'll go through and it'll prepare all the files required. If I go back up here to see now under bin, I have this publish folder and it has all of the assets required to publish. And one really nice thing about Visual Studio, at least as you're during development phase, if you want to test this really quickly, right click and say deploy to web app right here. And from here, then you can select, you probably don't have as many subscriptions as I do, but select the correct subscription, select a web application. Here's the two app services that I have out here. There's one right there, and it says, are you sure you want to do this? It'll overwrite that. Now, I've already got my my app service in Azure created. If you don't have one created, you can create one, and I've got a video that shows you how to do that. It's number 135 in this series. You're certainly welcome to do that, but I'm going to deploy to the one that I have right here. And it takes a minute, goes out and checks this thing. And it says right here, check out output window for status. And in fact, I can click on this. It'll take me to the output window and tell you exactly what's going on. And now the deployment is successful. And as soon as these prompts disappear, now I get this message, browse the website. And I can click on this to open up a browser and browse the website. And there it is right here. And you can see that it's out there on the web. It was deployed to this GCast MVC site right here, which also has a link to the website as well. So this video, I've shown you how to use the command prompt to create a new .NET, ASP.NET, MVC web application, and then also how to deploy that to Azure using Visual Studio Code. This is David. Thank you for watching.